I would love a marketing event, also how to handle post-launch issues, bugs, negative feedback, and how to address the public and keep them on board. That's a really good point. It can be so demoralizing when someone gets there and says, your game sucks. And you're like, oh, what do I do about this? And then that builds momentum. Someone else says, oh, I heard that game sucks. And then someone else is like, oh, no, good. And then you get a YouTuber who plays your game and is like, oh, this is stinky, don't buy it. And that can completely kill your 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years of work, just getting a couple of those bad pieces of feedback. So I think there's a lot you can do beforehand to protect against that, to make sure you're not relying upon randoms to give you the feedback, or find some YouTubers who you're already a little bit friendly with, have your own videos out there, have a discussion area with all your play testers who can say good things about it.
Yeah.
So you've got some ammunition to counter when someone says this sucks. And you're like, cool, it's not for everyone. Look at all these people over here who don't think it sucks. And then also, how do you have unfortunately, we have to do this at GameDev.tv. We have to have conversations with people who are like, you guys suck and you're a bunch of crooks and you took my money and you didn't. It's like, okay, cool. I understand that something's gone wrong. Can we have a conversation about it? Really sorry that the videos didn't load. That's not in our control. That's the internet. And let's see if we can figure it out for you. And they're like, oh, thanks. I just wanted someone to listen. So it's a really good point. How do you deal with that stuff? And it's more than just a 2-minute conversation, but
especially for the solo game dev, our games are not just technical programs. Our games are representations of our souls in some points. And when someone attacks your game, which I hate to say it, it is going to happen. If you launch a game on Steam, someone's going to come in and be negative about it. How to emotionally deal with that, I think, it's a big deal. I had people, when I launched Philophobia, I had a dude make an entire 5-minute video ripping it apart. There was nothing positive in that video. It was just how horrible and garbage and trash the whole game was. That messed me up. When I launched Murder Bunnies, or when we launched the Kickstarter, Dice Tower, which was like one of the biggest board game YouTubers out there, they live streamed the thing, and they looked at it and they're like, pass, and they made a bunch of bad comments about it and just went to the next game. And that was even worse because I saw that Murder Bunnies was being covered. So like, I saved that video all day and I sat down with Alyssa and I was like, I'm so excited they're going to cover it. We're going to watch it. And we watched it together and we just got like destroyed on video. And they didn't know anything about us. They didn't know anything about the game. And they just like completely trashed it. It's hard. It's really hard to deal with that stuff when you pour so much time and effort into these things. You put so much work into it. You pour so much soul into it. And it's something I could talk on for way longer than we probably have. Yeah. But it's absolutely something we should address in some way, shape, or form, because it's something everyone has to go through if they launch a commercial game.
It's so important to have in a really obvious spot where your game development is at and what's coming up soon. Because if someone plays your game and they're like, well, this is the final product, this is done, and it's garbage. Like, there's 1 hour of gameplay, those characters are broken, and that doesn't make sense. But if you've been really upfront, even it's baked into the game, when you click play on the game, it says early access, these things suck at the moment, like, don't hate us, right. Whatever, however you want to present that. And then click here, a link that's baked in your game, click here, a link, and you get all the latest information. Like, you can do things where you take people out of your game, particularly when it's early, so they can have this conversation in a supported manner. Then they know where it's at. But when people think it's finished, then they're going to be brutal, I think.